Now we got this great couple coming in from New Faith Baptist Church, 36 years of marriage. And
Yes.
who is this fantastic couple that we have on the show today?
Okay, they are our guest speakers for our topic, Redeeming Marriages for Better or Bitter. The choice is yours. And this great dynamic couple of 36 years, as we was so corrected by that man that love his wife, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
No. 36. Come on.
Right, it's like
Come on
36.
now.
I put in my work, 36 years.
36.
I want all his credit.
No, he said, I'm proud to say. That's what you call a proud man. I've been devoted for 36. Let somebody know this. I like that. I like that in you, Jeff.
And that is none other than Deacon Jeff Beckham and his lovely wife, Reverend Dava Beckham. Welcome to the McCain train.
All right, so what I'm going to tell you, just the mic moves, so just move it over to you when you're ready to talk. And so I'm going to go to my guy, Jeff, Deacon Jeff over there. Deacon, how you doing, man?
I'm great, and thank you all for having us on the show. Reverend Rick, Sister Dorothy, and I'm sorry, and Miss Brenda.
That's okay.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor and pleasure to be here to talk about marriage. In a few months, we'll be celebrating 37 in next March.
Oh, wow.
And I say that because when you've been married that long, you earned it.
Amen. I tell you.
Hey, you're right.
And I want to tell you, thank you
earned
very
that.
much for calling her, by a different name, because everybody knows her, and they don't know me half the time.
Right, they never
They
know.
come up, they know her, and they say, Reverend
What's his
something.
name?
What's his name? And so I'm going to give you that check. I know I told you, I'm going to give you that check after. Thank you a lot. I appreciate that, bro. See, that's what I call deacon and brothers and working together with each other.
Whatever.
So your name now is going to be Deborah from now on.
No, he
Dorothy.
said
Dorothy.
Dorothy. So you
Okay.
can't even get it right.
Okay, well, I don't know. What is your name?
My name is Brenda
Okay.
F. McCain.
I think 22
Ask
years,
me
I should
again,
know.
and I'll say it again.
Okay,
No,
you
I'll tell
stealing
you
my
the
stuff.
same.
Okay.
How do you know that song? That's how you sing with my son.
No, I used to say that all the time.
Okay. Well, I digress.
Yes,
Deacon
you
Jeff,
did.
how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great.
So we're talking about redeeming marriage, and so I just want to talk to you a little bit about, a marriage. When we talk about redeeming a marriage, that means that marriage is already in some kind of a trouble or some kind of trials and tribulations that's happening there. Talk to me a little bit about what it means to try to redeem your marriage.
Well, I think I want to start here. First of all, don't believe the hype about marriage. In this society we live in, there's so much negativity for marriage.
That's true.
You look in the public eye, all the stars, they seem to believe you can just live together, have a relationship, have kids, and then when you get tired of it, you just walk away. Marriage is a commitment. The marriage is a union that's sanctioned by God. In the Bible, we had Adam. We didn't want to have marriage. There would not have been an Adam and Eve. They would have been friends.
I'll be there.
Hey, man. So, Reverend, I'm going to ask you a question on that, too. Talk a little bit about, what it means to go through a redemption period, because that means, like I was asking Jeff, and I like how he said that, we want to make sure that people understand that marriage is alive and well. But when we have a situation, how do we handle that? So, say Brenda made me mad and she needs to redeem herself, because it's not me. It's always going to be her. So say she got an issue. How do we go about that reconciliation of redeeming that marriage?
Well, the very first thing is hopefully you're both believers.
Amen.
And forgiveness will really be a key factor in marriage. We've talked about trust. We've talked about being open, communicating. Those are absolutely necessary in order for you to have a good and a successful marriage. Marriage is really a lot of work, and people don't want to put the work in.
Amen.
And the very way we work jobs, and a lot of us have jobs now that really require a lot out of us, a lot more than they used to. Let's face it, after 2008, things just really went kind of crazy. The requirements change, but the jobs now, things have gotten a little better, but the requirements haven't changed on the workforce. Mm-hmm. So that same work that you have to put in on the job, you have to put in your marriage. With regards to redemption, being able to communicate to your spouse whatever the issue is, being open, being honest, transparent, and then asking God to lead that, to help you with that, because the healing will only take place with him as the center.
Amen.
Do you believe, we'll go to Jeff, do you believe that when it's only one person that wants to redeem the marriage, that it can work?
Yeah, yes and no. The yes is that if there's one person and you're praying about it and that person that you're with is a believer, then the word convicts.
What if that person is not a believer?
If that person's not a believer, then I still think there's a chance if that person wants to make it work. If that person is dead, fed on being by themselves, then you've got an upward battle all the way. Because we've done counseling, and we had situations where we counseled couples, and one individual in that relationship didn't want it to work. And then it got crazy. There were so many people they were being counseled by, and the marriage failed. And at one point, we just backed off because I told her, I said, at this point, probably not even healthy together. So you've got to be healthy together, too. You don't want people together that aren't healthy because at some point they're going to have some abuse. They're going to have a lot of mistrust. They're going to have things where one or the other might feel that it's beyond redemption because of things they've done so bad. So you got to give people the opportunity for them really to make up their own minds. And if they don't want help, then it's an upward battle.
You know, it's so important that you say that because a lot of times people think that they're going to come to a counselor and that automatically is going to help their relationship. But you've got to want to redeem your relationship. The counselor is just there to facilitate it. You know, I've been doing counseling for over 20-some years, and I would say a lot of times people say, what is your rate of success? And I say, well, maybe 20% success, 80% not. And they say, wow, that's kind of low. I say, you know why I say that? I said, because only 20% of them want to. The other 80% think that we're supposed to magically make it happen. You've got to do it. And Deacon Jeff, I'm glad you said that because it has to be to redeem it. Yes, one person can, but the other one has to. Both of them want to redeem and make that relationship work. And a lot of times they think the counselor is wrong. And like you said, we had it before too. They go to so many different people hearing so many different things that it doesn't work. And they say that counseling wasn't great. No, it wasn't the counseling. It was you not willing to stay the course with one person that can help you and believe that person in that counseling relationship can redeem your marriage.
And you have to pick the right counselor because a lot of people, they get in that panic mode. Once they come to us as counselors, somebody's ready to walk out the door for divorce. So you're panicking. But you have to do your due diligence and your research.
Yeah.
I suggest go to Christian counselors and stuff. But if that person's not biblically sound or a believer, they're not hearing us. So that's why I say you have to seek out what's the best counselor. And I don't mean your girlfriends, Jill and Jane, because that's especially, no offense to those who are single out there, you can't counsel a married couple. Yeah. And I know some people don't understand that, but this is my girlfriend. She helped me. She can't counsel you. So, moving on from that, I just want to make that note that you can't do that.
One of the things I want to say is that definitely if you're looking for some great counseling, what I know that New Faith goes through with just in classes alone, you're going to be a counselor there. You definitely got to know what you're doing. So you've got some great counselors here that's on the show with us now with Jeff and Dava Beckham. So they're definitely someone that you can go to. 36 years, they've got some counseling to tell you about some good and bad and how you can make it through the storms of a relationship. So, Reverend. That's okay. Reverend Beckham. I don't want to disrespect. I know that one of the definitions, and I'm reading this out now, it says, making a bad or unpleasant thing or person better or more acceptable. So when we redeem something, we're trying to make something more acceptable. I'm going to throw a twist on you. Should we be careful to point the finger and say, I'm trying to make that person more acceptable, or should I say I'm trying to make the marriage more acceptable?
Well, absolutely should be the latter.
Yeah.
We can't change anyone. So if you get in the marriage because you think you're going to change your honey, you should really just know that God is going to do a great work on you. At least in my own experience, I've learned you have to really be careful about pointing that finger.
Yeah.
But most times the work that's going to be done is going to be on you. So often people think they can change someone. And, if I can marry him now and I'll make him better. No, you should be looking to see what is it you believe God is going to do through you guys in the marriage. He is your partner. And we really have to be careful with that. So many people go out looking at what they're going to get. And so I think that's why, a lot of times marriage is in trouble.
Yeah.
They haven't really began with what marriage was created for in the first place. And we were put together here to glorify God. And ultimately, it's a covenant, an agreement with God that we've made. And God has really been faithful to us in our marriage. And I can say that I'm not going to tell you that it's always been easy. Hasn't. We have had to work our marriage. There are often all kinds of changes, from health challenges to, just growth in the marriage.
Yeah.
I was a young mom and a young wife, and I was 19 years old when I married Jeff. And so I've grown a lot.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I've gone to school, back to school, and, we've changed, and all of that comes in the marriage. But that's also the benefit of marriage.
Yeah.
And then you look and you see your kids grow up and the legacy of marriage and the legacy of grandchildren. It's awesome. And only God could have put that thing together.
Amen.
She made a great point that you don't point the finger at the spouse. And I know, what is that old saying? You point one finger at them for pointing back at you. So that's why God is always working on you. But women have it bad that we always believe, girl, I could change him. I'm going to do this with him. And it's like, the Reverend said, God's like, no, I'm going to change you. I'm going to do some work in you, which I think he did a lot with me, though.
Oh, he's still working on you, girl,
yeah,
right now. I'm telling you, we still
me.
praying. He shot they ha.
Yeah,
see, he working on you, girl.
Company up in But no, that is a good point you made, because I know a lot of women, they always want to change that man. And to me, it's like, well, why did you marry him? If of 10, give me 3 points of what was good. I haven't gotten there with him yet. Why did you marry him? And they be true on that. I'm going to change him, but it doesn't work that way. So redemption starts within you.
So, Jeff, let me ask you this question. You all have been counseling as well, right? Talk to me a little bit about some steps that you would go through to help someone with redemption in their marriage. Help somebody out right now, because somebody like me and Brenda are having some issues, and we're thinking about walking away, but we want to try to redeem our marriage. Take them through a couple of steps. I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask the Reverend as well, some steps about what they should go through to redeem their relationship or their marriage.
The first thing you got to determine is that, are they both open to be counseled together? Because you'll find in relationships, you don't want to bring in a hostile spouse that's very resistant to counseling. Yeah. Because there have been some instances where the husband gets triangulated into this counseling and he's abusive. And so when he gets home, beats the wife to death. So, I mean, that sounds extreme, but
it happens.
People are on extreme tiers nowadays. I'll put it like that. So you got to make sure that both couples, both of the spouses, are open to counseling. The next thing you got to do is you got to try to get them in the room and let them open up about the issues. Because what you'll find is one person will have a litany list of all the bad things wrong
usually
with the other
wife.
Yeah, usually the wife. And then if it goes that one-sided, the other husband's going to do the first thing he does is shut down. Because first of all, he's going to feel that you're impartial. If there's no impartiality, then he's not going to feel that he's welcomed. And he's not going to feel that anything he says, that he's going to have a stake in it. So what you want to do, you want them to talk about, each of them talk about how they're affected in the marriage and what things that are wrong in the marriage from their perspective.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Reverend Dave over there. You up there looking down. It's mostly the wife that has that long list. And it's not a bad thing. It's just women are more prepared. Women are more prepared. Men are just like, I don't know what's going on. We don't really have a list. And so all of a sudden you have this long list and the man like, I'm just not happy. Just something like that. But give me, a couple of things that you would say to help with redemption of the marriage as well.
Well, the first thing that we generally will do when we talk with a couple, of course, we have prayer. And basically, I get an idea of if this is a couple that we can meet with. Sometimes we make a decision to split. I'll meet with the wife, he meets with the husband, and then we come together and we do counseling. The last couple of couples we actually met with, that was very effective. And then we sat down and basically we talked about whatever the issues and the concerns were. We were able to do that and make, I think, some great progress versus going through the litany and really having some honest conversation about what was on the list. So we find out what the main things are. Generally, it's communication, lack of or miscommunication. Something was said, misunderstood. I always try to go in and, throw kind of the other side of the coin in there. So sometimes it's something that was said that maybe they truly misunderstood. And I think that's one of the key things, open, honest communication, breaking down whatever the barriers are, asking them and determining. The second thing I generally do is determine if this is something they want to fight for. Do you love your husband? Yeah. Do you love your wife? And if they can't answer that, we're usually generally in trouble. Yeah. I've been told right off the bat, in one instance, I don't love him anymore. I should have never been with him, but I have 3 kids now. So, I ask them, so what is it you believe God is telling you? And then I always take them back to the scriptures. And the way that I do that is I challenge them to go to the Word, to look at what God says concerning marriage, actually give them some scriptures to study and to read. Yeah. And then they come back to me and they tell me what God has said to them regarding those scriptures in marriage.
Yeah, I do like what you said, that it's even though they have that litany of list there, that you don't use that as the process that you go through, because if you sometimes you use that list, it's just pointing finger. You'll never get through with it. But you can look at that list and then have questions that can help you develop the true meaning of the problem that's happening in the relationship. Because I always tell people, I tell people, I like shock therapy sometimes. I tell them sometimes I do choose a side, and I just pause. And so now they try to figure out whose side I'm going to pick. I said I always choose the side of the covenant relations of Jesus Christ. So that means I'm not going to be on your side or your side. Mine is to develop the covenant relationship and make it a success. If you want to do that as well, then this relationship can be successful. If you're not focusing on that covenant relationship to make it be successful, then it's going to be a failure, because now you're just focusing on yourself. And I throw this in the craziest one I have, and I'm going to ask you all that question too, a redemption thing. I had 2 preachers that came to me, one male, one female, and they were using the scriptures against each other.
I mean, slinging the scriptures.
And so you know what? They came to a counseling class, and I didn't have my book with me. I said, today we're not going to use the Bible. They're like, what? What do you mean we're not going to use the Bible? How are you going to be a Christian preacher? I said, because today we're not going to allow you to use the word of God against each other. All right. We're going to allow you now to be the word of God in your relationship. And it was just amazing that you had to do something like that to get people to redeem it. And as you said, you've got to want to save it and not try to point fingers at other people. You got anything else you want to add, baby?
As far as that, the people that's pointing the finger, of course, they're the ones that's never accountable for their own actions. Because in our counseling, they rattle off back and forth. No one was wrong, but both of them were wrong. And that used to get me. It's like, man, she could point out 10 things he done wrong. He could point out 20. They always one-upped each other. And like I said, no one was accountable for anything. So bottom line is, like the Reverend said, do you love your spouse? Yeah. It didn't even sound like they wanted to make it work. But, of course, with us, we used to say, why are we even helping you? And you don't want to help yourself with this. And 9 times out of 10 of all the counseling we did, we only had one disruption, I think, in our household. They almost got physical at that time. It's like, you know what? We won't ever do this in the house again. Because
they just get really a little bit crazy in that. You have situations like that as well. Yeah. What I'm going to ask you all now is tell us about, the counseling that you do. Deacon Jeff, tell us about the counseling you do, the church that you go to as well, that some people can find out to get some counseling from this excellent couple of 36 years.
Well, Since I'm a deacon, what we do is, you guys did the new members classes.
Yeah.
The deacons have this intensive study program. And one of the courses in the study program is called Wise Counsel. And one thing it teaches you in the counseling is that you facilitate people helping themselves. The worst thing you can do is tell people what to do.
Right.
Because if it don't work, it's my fault.
There you go.
And so what we do is we try to get people, the reason why we like people to write things down, because what happens is in that litany list, and normally since we've done this so long, in the first half an hour, her and I know what the problem is. Because what happens when they start to just expunge this whole list of grievances, basically that's what it is.
Grievances.
Yeah, you'll see where a lot of times it's based on some miscommunication, some mistrust, previous actions, and it's a lot of loss of faith. Sometimes people go to relationships where they lose faith, especially Christian couples.
Yeah.
And so we don't have God in the center. It's a mess when you're trying to work that out for yourself, because we all know we all have problems.
Right.
And He's the one. He's going to give us that deliverance and that answer.
Yeah. Reverend Beckham, tell us about the church that you're at as well.
Well, we attend New Faith Baptist Church International in Matson, Illinois. Our pastors are Dr. Trinell D. Felder and Reverend Dr. Alexis L. Felder. And it's an awesome ministry. It's an international ministry.
Yes.
We do all kind of outside community and missionary work. So currently, kids are getting ready to go back to school, and we will be in Phoenix, Illinois this Saturday, giving away school supplies and book bags to children there. We also do health fairs, and we have over, I don't even know how many other outside churches all over the country, all over the nation. So we have churches in West Africa and Ghana. We have churches in India. We are also in Burkina Faso. We are in Jamaica. We're in, I'm sorry, I could go down the.
Is it like Sierra
it's
Leone?
A list.
Or something?
Yeah.
Sierra Leone. We're in Jamaica.
Yeah.
We're in. We've been in Haiti. We go wherever there's a need. So currently, we're doing water for Flint, Michigan, and these are community events that the community can assist in. We're taking Flint, Michigan water still. Once we go into a place, we stay until the community is established, and so we do. The men do read nights for Fort Heights. We are all over wherever there is help required. We go. We assist. We take care of orphans in India and again in Ghana, West Africa. And currently here we do all kind of, we've been in, like I said, Phoenix, Illinois. We've been in Chicago Heights. We've been in Fort Heights. We go down to Pembroke. We've assisted down there. We are a ministry that is basically outside of the walls as well as within the walls. There is prayer on Tuesday nights. There's usually Bible study on Wednesday nights, and this is a church that tries to grow up the Christian saints. So wherever you are, you can get in and fit in. From being a minister to a brand new Christian, the VCLI, the training that we have in terms of new members classes are phenomenal. We have an awesome children's ministry and an awesome teen ministry where they have their own services on Sunday at 11 a.m. and Bible study and Sunday school.
So, she just gave you a litany of what the whole church do there. So that litany you can use. But I'm going to say this. One of the things I could say, I always tease First Lady. I always tell her, if I ever got up there, you wanted me to say that list of all the places you go to, you can forget it, because I could never remember that. They'd have to have a cue card for me, because I'm like, we go everywhere. That's all I would have to say. Because I always laugh, and I laugh when the other guys say, we go to Jamaica, man. But I could never remember that. But you all, in the counseling that you do, how can they get in contact with you all if they wanted to do some counseling? Do they have to be a member of New Faith? to be a counsel, or can they just contact you and Jeff for some counseling? How can they get in contact with you? Do you all still do counseling for each other, right?
Well, so counseling. At our church, there is a team that actually does the counseling. And what actually happens is, depending on what it is, because, sometimes people call and maybe we're not available, they are able to reach out to our church, and then it is actually set up through Deacon. We have a pastoral care assistant, and they actually set that up. And so it's a segment of the deacons that do counseling. The ministers do a lot of the counseling. Reverend Powell, Reverend Vines, and our First Lady, and even pastors sometimes does counseling. But yes, they could reach us at New Faith, and we could be available. I can't commit to. I'm in school, and I will be going back in September. So that's the only reason why I kind of pull back in terms of saying they could reach me or us personally.
Understand.
But yes, we are available for counseling as well.
I don't care. She in school or not. I'm called. I want the Beckhams. I don't want nobody else. 36 years. I want them.
She was like, didn't I tell you I was in school?
Yeah, we had to do that before. Jeff, you got something you say?
Yeah, one thing I think she mentioned that we're in Inglewood, and what we're doing now in Inglewood, which is dear to me. I'm an Inglewood and Gresham grown-up person. So anyway, we have a back-to-work program where we're dealing with people that have been incarcerated. So once they get out, the church works with them, get them to understand how to interview. They supply clothing and all the things necessary for them to get a job. And we've worked with some corporate sponsors that are seeking employment for people that have been incarcerated.
All right. Hey, that's great. Hey, we're about to get ready to go to a commercial break. The Beckhams are going to be here with us for the duration of the show so they can talk with us with the relationship letters. Baby, what we got coming up next? Are you ready for that?
Okay, coming up next, a salvation call here. We have our new Pureflix commercial.
New Pureflix commercial and the LSTT Superstar. Take 3.
Take 3?
Yeah, this is a different person saying the same thing. That's all. We got different commercials. You got to have different voices.
Okay.
Hey, this is Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.